Hello, everyone, and welcome to this monthly workshop. My name is Gina. My spiritual name is Lakshmi, and it is always a pleasure to be here with you. I will use the letter part of this session to answer any questions you may have. So stay tuned with us till the end if you have any particular questions about Shreem Brzee or anything related to Dr. Pillai's teachings around this topic. I'm happy to assist in any way that I can. So why are we here today? Every month we gather in order to bring you a new topic, something to reflect upon, something to deepen your understanding of, and more specifically, usually it's a way to utilize an energy that is happening. And right now we are, well, not right now, but this month we are moving into a new month period of time that lasts about 30 days that is very significant for the energy of the goddess, the divine feminine. And we like to call it goddess power. And it is a month that happens in the Tamil calendar in southern India that celebrates and acknowledges the Shakti energy. Shakti is energy, more specifically feminine energy. Well, it's power, more specifically feminine power. And when we have particular power times where this energy becomes more pronounced, it gives us an opportunity to move forward or accelerate in a way that is supported by that energy. So what is supported by divine feminine energy or divine feminine power? Everything in the material realm is governed by and moved with the energy of the feminine. If you think about what gives life on earth, females, right? Women birth other humans. The same concept is true in the spiritual and material essence of life. The male energy is the silent, the still, the essence, that power. And the female energy is that which makes movement. So you can look at it in terms of a creation of life as well, right? The male lends its energy, its life force, its seed to the creation process. The female takes that energy and then creates a human out of it, creates life with it. So we can look the same way in the world, right? There's the male energy, that the stillness, and then there's the female energy that is that activity. It's the creatress. It's that which makes movement. So when you're looking at your life and what you want to take action in or create, that is the feminine energy. That is the feminine activity. There's other aspects of male feminine energy in terms of the allowance, and not so much action, but the allowance of energy to come forth and the essence of being. All of that also holds true, just specifically talking about the Shiva Shakti, the male-female energy when it comes to the creative process. So now that you know a little bit about the divine feminine energy, why that's so important and significant in your life and how you can really utilize it. You utilize it for material gains, for spiritual gains. Now we'll tell you a little bit about this month coming up and the significance of a power time. Power time is when there's a particular energy presence in a unit of time, a day, a minute, a week, a month, a year. And then when that energy is present, it gives us an opportunity to use or access that energy to make gains in the area we want. So, like I said, this would be a wonderful month to make gains in or accelerate your progress in both spiritual and material evolution, and gain the blessings of the goddess. So power times, so you understand that divine feminine, you understand power times. And now let's get into what's specifically different about this coming month. I will share my screen and we'll go through a quick little PowerPoint here. Where did it go? Here it is. So the month of goddess power, we're honoring the divine feminine during, it's called Aadi Velli, for boons and blessings. So this, purpose here is to prepare us for this goddess power month that is coming up. So when is this? It is when the sun moves into Cancer, and that happens in the United States on July 16th. I believe in India and other parts of the world, it's July 17th, and it stays there until August 17th, and it's called Aadi month. And it's traditional for Southern India, like I mentioned, in the Tamil calendar. The energy radiates from this supreme Shakti. I mentioned the Shakti is power, or more specifically, feminine power. And it fills the earth plane. It comes in, it radiates this energy for us to take advantage of. Dr. Pillai says, the goddess is real. She is invisible to the naked eye and belongs to heaven. She visits the earth plane periodically and stays at certain temples. Who brought her over into the earth plane? The yogis and the siddhas. And that is Dr. Pillai's lineage, the yogis and the siddhas. So a little bit about the astrology. I mentioned the sun moves into Cancer, the zodiac sign. And Cancer is a motherly planet, right? It's a water sign. It's ruled by the moon, and the moon dictates our mind. It controls water, which controls our mind, and gives us this energy of wholesomeness, for lack of a better word, the nurturing aspect of Cancer. And so when the sun is in that sign, it reflects what's there, and it reflects back to earth this energy of the goddess, this Cancer, this motherly queen planet of the moon. And that's where we have this nurturing, motherly goddess, divine feminine energy that is with us for the entire month. It's also when in Vedic tradition, there's a shift from the sun's facing north to south. So it's like in the West where we say the solstice or the equinoxes, where the shift happens, where it's kind of like the summer solstice of the Vedic tradition, where the sun's kind of trajectory shifts, and now we're moving into more of the, like, not quite winter, but a fall season. And propitiating or offering things, or even just your attention to the goddess, who is the ruling deity of the moon, goddess Parvati, in different forms, can remove hostile forces, can give us divine protection. It can bless us with wisdom and knowledge and power to overcome adversities. That's something that the goddess can do. And I don't know if you can hear this, but it just started raining hard. And another sign of the presence of the goddess is that she comes in the form of water. We just talked about that. And rain. Dr. Pillai has often said, when the rain comes, the goddess is present. So it was certainly a very good sign that we have here. It's like completely storming. So let's go on to our next slide. The significance of Aadi Velli, or Aadi month. Aadi Velli is a time where we can connect with the goddesses. We talked about that. Fridays are very special because Fridays are already significant days for the goddess, because Fridays are ruled by Venus, and Venus's overlord is Lakshmi, who is a goddess. And just so now we have this double power time happening every Friday. So if the sun is in Cancer, Cancer is ruled by the moon. The overlord of the moon is Parvati, the mother goddess, the goddess of all goddesses, like mothering everyone. Now we have both that energy plus the energy of Fridays, which lends itself to Lakshmi's abundant energy, That is super powerful Fridays. So every Friday during this month, you should make a priority of doing your Shreem Brzee practice, because now it's doubly blessed, doubly powerful. There's also other goddesses that you can connect with. They are Durga. Durga is a fierce form of Parvati, the mother goddess. Lalita is all the goddesses in one. Saubhagya Pratingare, she's a fierce goddess. I can't pronounce all these. Samtakari, Ashwara, Angali, Vyasadrapadi, a variety of different goddesses, and they're all present on throughout this month. In fact, Pillai Center is doing rituals in India that will help exacerbate or expand the energy of these goddesses in your life. So if you're interested in rituals, remedies that get performed on your behalf, this is a wonderful way to participate in them and gain even more blessings from this goddess. Because what happens during these rituals and remedies is offerings are being made on your behalf to these goddesses. And so you're going to go about your business and you are going to do your prayers and your meditations, but now you'll also, in these various power spots around India, have rituals being done for you to these goddesses so that they will be happy and you'll invoke and gain blessings there. And what do they give us? They give us wish fulfillment, like prayer. If we're super prayerful to them, they will hear us and they will respond. The goddess and the mother, all the goddesses, the mothers, they cannot resist their children, and we are their children. They'll give protection. They give wealth, intelligence, health, progeny, overcoming sorrows and obstacles. Goddesses are just complete compassion. The mythology is that the goddess manifested in this month, came to the earth plane in this month in order to establish peace and harmony in the world. And it is said that she appears in various holy centers during this time. Miracles are experienced, and it enhances the vibrations in those areas. What can we do? In addition to what I mentioned already, you want to double down on your Shreem Brzee practice if you can, right? Or if you have been inconsistent, become a little more consistent. Just do as much as you can. Add some added intention and effort to your connecting with the goddess, however that looks for you. So if you're chanting Shreem Brzee, try to chant it more. We recommend chanting 1,008 times if you can. If not, chant 108 times every day. Or just get lost in the chant and just be completely blissed out in having the goddess come to you. You can also participate in the rituals, the remedies that are performed in India that I mentioned. You can do your own rituals at home, hydrating your Shreem Brzee statue or yantra. And then certainly join the free Shreem Brzee meditation chanting sessions that happen every Friday on the Shreem Brzee YouTube channel. Overall benefits of observing this power time: protection, energy, material and spiritual boons and blessings, releasing hardships, and perhaps even having miracles come into your life. This is the grace of the goddess. This is what she can do. But we need to go to her with our faith and our love. If we go empty-handed, and I mean that both figuratively and literally, then she has less of a reason to respond to us, right? So, little sidebar about the relationship with the goddess. When we go to her with our sincerity, with our love, with our intention, with our focus, with our commitment, then she can appear. If we go to her with flowers and fruits and incense and gifts, she can also appear. But don't do any of that mechanically without the emotion involved, because it won't matter. It'll matter to a degree if you kind of give a flower, but don't really give it from your heart. it's more important actually to give it from your heart than to give it physically and not have it felt in the heart. So how the goddess responds to us is dependent upon how we go to her. Dr. Pillai recently was saying how you should pray with your hands up and also invite the goddess into your heart, right? Whoever you're praying to. So if you're doing Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, and waiting for the essence of Shreem Brzee to come to you, waiting for that energy to flood into your heart and your body. That's true prayer. That is connecting. That is receiving her grace in that moment. And how do you do that? You do that through your giving, right? You don't just kind of do a drive-by and just, whatever. That's not how they respond. And if you think about it, no one does, right? Even in your life, if you're not giving attention and love to someone or something, it doesn't give it back, right? Think of your own mother. If you were to show up to your mother's house with gifts and you call her regularly and you give her attention and you love her generously, she will likely respond back with probably even more love and generosity and gifts than you've given her, because she loves you infinitely more. There's nothing like a mother's love. And that is the same for the goddess. She is the embodiment of the mother's love. And that's what this whole month is about. The embodiment of the mother's love and how we can connect with it and how we can love into it. And yes, receiving her blessings is a byproduct, but your first intention and your first kind of order of business and priority should be to, how do I love her? How do I offer to her? What can I do? How can I change my heart so that I'm holding less negativity? So I'm not holding hatred or revenge, because that is also, she sees our hearts is essentially an offering to gods and goddesses all the time. So the more pure it is, the more well it will be received by them. And when it is received by them, they can give back so much, right? So that's like the key. That's the key to how our connection can work with the goddess. Go back to our little slideshow. So benefits of observing, we just did that. I talked a bit about the remedies. So now that you're making this beautiful and amazing connection with the goddess, you can double or triple that effort by having the priests in India also make offerings in these amazing power spots all over India. And there's so many. Look at this, 32 days of rituals that are happening, 76 different 76 ultimate goddess ceremonies invoking 9 supreme goddesses, 2 sacred pujas, 7 grand fire labs, 8 sacred hymn chanting, 32 pujas, 22 sacred offerings. There's a lot, right? Donations to those in need. So everything is covered in this package. I love when we do this, these type of things where it's really intensive and specifically for the goddess. So if you're interested, there should be a link below this video. And I believe you have to register by probably the 16th of July. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask them now. All right, let me just check over my intensive, oops. Okay, so I know it takes a moment for us to catch up. See if there's any questions. Welcome, everyone. Oh, a couple of things I wanted to add that this is important. So the Goddess Fridays, you don't want to miss that. And also the new moons, they're called Aadi Amavasya, or the new moon that falls within the month of Aadi. And this is very, very, very powerful and specific to ancestor offerings. I know that we often talk about ancestor offerings and why that's important for you to be cleansing that ancestral karma in order to manifest something new, manifest what you want to create. Your ancestors are constantly thinking on your behalf, sending you thoughts and energy. You're even physically manifested through them, and their epigenetics, their genetics are still influencing you. So you want to be doing this karma cleansing, this ancestor cleansing ritual often, every single day if you can. If not, definitely do not miss new moons. And then there's a few new moons during the month through the year that is very, very, very powerful. And this is one of them. So we actually have there's two of them, the new moon that happens in July 16th, because it's the day, and at least in the US, the sun shifts. That's a good one. But the most powerful one is the new moon in August. You do not want to miss doing your tarpanam, your ancestor offerings. I happen to do year-long tarpanam so that I know that the priests are doing this for me every single month, and it's kind of gotten covered. I also do it myself. So just to make sure both is happening. So yeah, so don't miss the new moons and the new moon. Don't miss Fridays. And I think that's it. The whole month is just really special. Are there any questions? Does Goddess Shreem Brzee say anything about prudent budgeting? I am so grateful for the blessings of inflow I have brought into my life from them, but budgeting has been a bit of a challenge. So that comes into, that's another aspect. That's so Lakshmi means goal, focus, and she will give you abundance. But part of that focus and goal orientation is knowing what to do, right? So my interpretation anyway is that it's twofold. The abundance will come in, and then the use of that is up to us. And if we are continually wasteful, maybe we'll just continually have that huge inflow and there won't be a problem. But perhaps if you're allocating your money in ways that isn't what you want in the long run, then you'll have to make some personal choices. So ultimately, it's all personal decision. There's no, financial advice or financial direction that Lakshmi is giving, but be wise about what and how you use what is given. Now, just from a very practical standpoint, prioritize, right? Priority. What needs to be paid to make sure that your needs are met, taking care of your physical needs, your housing, whatever is needed for your healthcare, food, etc. And then moving down the line to what is most important to you next, and etc. So there's nothing specific, the goddess says about prudent budgeting, but it is more of a practical thing. And if you're having to, this person, Sam's asking about budgeting has been of a challenge. If you have a challenge, then that is an opportunity for you to learn from. Every time we incarnate and we have challenges with something, it's typically because that's our learning for this lifetime. Maybe abundance came easy to you before and it comes easy to you again. Maybe now this lifetime, it is an opportunity for you to understand what budgeting is and how to do it better. So I hope that helped. A little bit general, but whenever we have a challenge, it is because I believe it's because we incarnated to experience that and hopefully learn from it and then master it. You're welcome, Nancy. Thank you for being here. Can you explain a little bit about the Shiva Jiva Nadi readings? Yeah, different topic. I will get to that. Should I tell the gods that my birthday is this month on the 16th? Should I tell the gods? They know, Vladimir, they know. But you could maybe throw a party for them, right? Isn't there a tradition? I think it's Buddhists who give gifts on their birthday. So maybe your birthday can be an offering, like God gave you life, right? What are you doing with that life, and what can you kind of offer back on the birthday, the anniversary, the day that they gave you life. I think this is how I view it. I view that this body and this life was just God-given for the purpose of service, at least for me. And if we see it in that way, it kind of takes a little bit of the self-importance out of it, in terms of like, I'm here to do this. And I used to have that concept quite heavily, but then I realized, oh, God just gave me this life to be of service, and at least I hope that I can do that. So what if your birthday was a celebration of that gift of service? And what would you do? Maybe you'll feed people, right? Who will you be of service to on that day? What will light you up? What will make you happy? So yeah, you don't need to tell the gods that it's your birthday. They know, but maybe do something to get their attention. Yeah. Okay. Also, does that impact their influence on me? Meaning your birthday? Birthdays are power times. So we talked about power times. And specifically, here's the Vedic tip that if you, so you have your Earth birthday, so you were born a certain day, and then you have your birth star, the star you were born on. It's considered your spiritual birthday when within the Tamil month, we talked about Tamil months, or it kind of works out to be the closest to your Earth birthday, the day you were born, was when your birth star is. So let's say your birth star is Jayesta, I'm just making this up. Or let's say, I can look at the calendar. Let's say your birth star is Maga, and you were born in on July 17th. Then your birthday would be July 17th, but your birth star birthday, which would be your spiritual birthday, would be when Maga falls within that month, wherever the sun is. So the sun during this time is going to be inside of Cancer, and then Maga would be on July 20th. So it's a little bit of a calculation. The cheater version is just what birth star, when is your birth star closest to your actual birth date? And that is when the time and energy is more significant for you. So that's when you can even, definitely feed people. That's a huge blessing on your birthday. Yeah, do extra meditation, really gonna soak in the blessings and the energy of that day. It's like your own personal power time. That's why when we say, Dr. Pillai's birthday is a big power time. We have a celebration for him, but we also, have a session where you can connect with him. It's because that's a significant time that he's giving out particular energies that is useful. We all have that heightened power time during our birthdays. So the day you were born, as well as the star day. What's the best fruit and foods? Is rice and turmeric? Great question, Daryl. Thank you. Yeah, so turmeric is divine. It's a divine food. It's a root. It can also come in powder, as you probably know, but either way is fine. If you can get the live root, that's great. If you can get a dried root, also wonderful. Lakshmi loves to be given turmeric, so you can just give a root to her. It can be dried or live. Ganesha loves it. Angali loves it. All the goddesses love it. So yes, turmeric is great. Milk-based sweets, that can be chocolate, it can be any type of sweets with a milk base in it. Nuts, dried fruit, fresh fruit. Those are some staples. Rice. Dr. Pillai used to have us make a rice pudding. And you can get any type of rice, like a fluffed rice or actual rice or cream of rice or flaked rice, any type of rice substance. You mix that with milk and sugar, a little bit of cardamom, maybe throw some raisins in there, and now you've got like amazing pudding that all the gods love. So you can make a little bit of that and offer that. So yeah, if you want to get into it, That's a good question. I like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you guys thinking about how you're going to make offerings to the goddess this month in order to get her blessings. So great. All right. What else? When chanting to Varahi and Shreem Brzee and Lakshmi, are the goddesses the same, or do we chant to them differently? Very good question. So it's like having one archetype with different subsets. So an archetype has a set of qualities, but then you can have like more specialized versions of that particular archetype. That is how I think of the goddesses. So not hierarchically, but like from an archetype that embodies most to kind of breaking it down a little bit more. Lalita Tripura Sundari, she's like all the goddesses in one. And then if you go and there's three main goddesses within her: Parvati, the mother, Saraswati, she's the creatress goddess and also for intelligence, and then there's Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance, sustaining. So now we're in this one track of Lakshmi, and then move Lakshmi into the middle. Under Lakshmi, we have all the incarnations that Lakshmi and Vishnu had avatars for, and there's 11 of them. So there's technically 11 different versions. Well, there's many different versions of Lakshmi, but from the standpoint of an incarnation, the mythology of an incarnation on Earth, there's 11 of them because Vishnu incarnated 11 times and he brings Lakshmi with him. So an example of that would be like Krishna and Radha. Radha is Lakshmi. There's another version of Lakshmi. Varahi is another one. So Vishnu incarnated as a boar and Lakshmi incarnated as his wife also as a boar. So that's the how they were created. So then Shreem Brzee is just a different type of energy or entity that Dr. Pillai has created in this lifetime. So she's a Mahalakshmi. She's like all the Lakshmis. So Shreem Brzee, think of her as like, there's like what, 64, 108. There's a lot of Lakshmis. If all of them were incarnated together, that would be Shreem Brzee Lakshmi, all the Lakshmis together. So when you call upon them, you can think of them as separate and individual and use the mantras appropriately. Or you can think of them as one big energy field of abundant, beautiful, prosperous, joyful energy, which is what they embody. They also, of course, will protect you from negativity, protect you from poverty. So, but from what I do is I use them separately. But I don't distinguish, like if I'm chanting Shreem Brzee, I'm just imagining the ultimate, like the Mahalakshmi, the Shreem Brzee of that, the Lakshmi of all the Lakshmis. And then for Varahi, I very specifically think about Varahi with the forehead. She has her own mantra, Om Shreem Brzee, Shri Swarna Varahi Deviye Namaha. You can find that on YouTube, Dr. Pillai's voice. So you can use it very specifically and differently, or you can just generally access all of the Lakshmi energy. Long answer to your question. So yeah, you can chant to them differently. And specifically, like, so Varahi, if you have like some issues with negativity or something that you want destroyed or you need kind of fast action for, Varahi would be the one. What if your ancestors, the ones you knew, weren't nice or kind to you, and others were just bad people? Great question, Kitty. Thank you for asking that. It's important. It's more important to do it for them because they're probably having some feelings about all of this after having passed. When we're embodied and we have this body, we're limited by our senses, our perception, what we see, we hear, what the mind believes all of that is very limited. And when we pass over, we get beyond this life, we lost the body, right? We're just spirit. Now we're moving on to other realms. We oftentimes have revelations. The soul has revelations like, oh my gosh, I held on to all those things, or there's self-reflection of, I mistreated people. And there is a freedom in that after the passing occurs. So it's important for us not to hold on to the image of what that person was in their life, because now their soul is likely different, hopefully different. And then when we do ancestor offerings to them, we do tarpanam for them, it's helping them to dissolve those patterns even more. It's helping them to align with their higher self even more. And when they align with their higher selves, when they're transcending into heavenly realms, it's that power of their blessing that comes down to us, which is really significant. That's what impacts us. That's what helps us a lot. So this is why it's important for us to do ancestor offerings, especially to the folks who weren't good. Because and flip side of that, let's say they did pass over and they're still kind of not great people. Guess what? You're still getting their energy. You're still getting influenced by their thoughts. So now maybe the uncle or grandfather with the gambling addiction, is influencing you and you're feeling like you should gamble. Addictions are strong. Those are strong energies that stay from lifetime to lifetime and definitely get passed on ancestrally. But let's say they passed on and they didn't really lose all of their selfishness and their, like you said, not great people, those thoughts will come to you. So you very specifically want to pray to have them release those thoughts, move into higher realms, and bless you so that you then receive the benefits. They will receive the benefits too. So don't think of it as, if you're feeling like a little hard in the heart and you don't want to do anything nice for these people that made your life miserable, let's just say this is the case. Do it for you, do it for the people around you, do it for your children or whoever, like other people in your life that you love that could be and probably are getting the influence, the energetic and thought influence from the people you didn't like. The happy byproduct is that they will also be, move on. But if it's too hard for you to think of it that way, just think of it as protecting yourself, that you need to be shielded from these thoughts. And the only way you're going to be shielded from these thoughts, if those thoughts don't exist, it's not that you can tell those ancestors to stop thinking those thoughts. That doesn't work. You have to help them heal so that they no longer have the thoughts, so that you can then benefit from their blessings. Because now, without those negative thoughts, without those kind of unkind circumstances that in their soul, without that, they will open up. They'll become more light. They will become more love. They will ascend to higher realms of the heavens. And then we ask for them to bless. And those blessings are powerful. Okay, I hope that helped, Kitty. Instead of doing the remedies, I signed up for Manifest with Fire, which includes Fire Labs for each Powerful Friday. Yes, that's great. And your birthday falls in there. Wonderful. Hello, Flower. Thank you for your question. They're asking, besides Shreem Brzee, would you recommend any other mantra? I love mantras. They're my favorite because the meaning of a mantra is that which protects your mind. So if you're wanting your unruly mind to somehow be reeled in and protected from the chaos that continues to happen in the mind, the mantra is what can do it. And now we don't just have any mantra, but we have a set of mantras to choose from that can help us in a particular direction. So the energy of each mantra is unique, and we use or select that mantra in order to embody that quality. So for Shreem Brzee, you're embodying abundance, you're embodying joy, you're embodying beauty. And so then how to pick a different mantra is dependent upon what it is you want in your life. So do you want more love and attracting relationships, harmonious, or creating harmony in your current relationships, then the mantra will be clean. If you want to feel more embodied by light, just full of light, God's grace, God's love, Arul, A-R-U-L. If you are interested in karma removal and wanting to clear out more of these patterns that are happening, what seems unconsciously just continuing to happen to you, then you would want Tirunilakantam. If you are looking for general kind of all-encompassing, the light of God, energy of God, Om, right? Primordial sound. So I don't have a particular mantra that I recommend necessarily. It's really, that's why it's really up to you. Although I do love Arakara, Arakara, or you say it like Arakara because you roll the R's. And that is what Dr. Pillai calls the impossibility buster. So that's a great mantra. Om Namah Shivaya is also a great mantra for 200% life. You get your spiritual aspects, and you also get material. And it's for all of the 5 elements of the earth plane. So yeah, if I had to pick some mantras to recommend, it would be everything that I just said. You have clean, Arul, Tirunilakantam, Arakara, Om Namah Shivaya. And there's just so many, but those are some key mantras that you can try and really see which ones work for you. See which ones feel better, which ones are activated perhaps more easily, in which case you may get some more reward. You might get some kind of faster action with them. So give them a try. Oh, Veshun said, thank you for sharing this information so freely with us. My pleasure. Okay, I have a question about our diet. I read that we should not eat any meat during this time. Is that correct? That reminds me, there was a couple of questions up ahead before that I didn't get to. Lise, if you're still here, I just saw your note. Yeah, you can chat. This is not a place where you can talk unless you were invited earlier. Okay, so diet. We don't recommend any particular diets because everyone is different, and everyone's body has different needs. Spiritually, it is helpful when you refrain from meat because eating meat does have a heavier vibration. And so if you're wanting to do a meditation or feel a little more of the spiritual energy, then it's easier to do that when you're not eating meat. However, some people need to eat meat, and that's fine too. So the Pillai Center, Dr. Pillai, does not dictate or recommend or not recommend any particular diet, but based on these guidelines, do what works best for you. If you can refrain from eating meat on certain days, specifically Fridays, because these particular Fridays will be so powerful, then try that out. If you're feeling like you can't do that, that's okay. Don't let that stop you from the rituals or meditation or chanting that you would normally do. And then James had asked about the Shiva Jiva Nadi leave readings. Real quickly, I will talk about that because it's a totally different topic. So there's this wonderful, amazing woman who I've had the pleasure of let me start again. There's a wonderful woman that I have the pleasure of knowing for many years, 20 years or so. She's been studying with Dr. Pillai, and she has a gift to be able to hold nadi leaves that were given to her by Dr. Pillai and hear what the leaves have to say about you. And she then purely communicates what they are saying. I had a reading with her many years ago. I'm scheduled to have another one soon, and it'll be very interesting to see how it differs. But her level of purity, sincerity, and surrender is really touching. And I acknowledge her for that. And she's been selected to be able to give these readings. It's not a big whole thing where you have to send your thumbprint or anything like that. There's no translation like our normal, your regular, more traditional Nadi readings. That's why it's called a Jiva Nadi reading. It's like a channel where it comes through her from the leaves. And she holds them and opens herself up, and that's how it happens. And then you'll receive whatever the gods of the leaves say, and I believe it's Shiva. That's why I call it a Shiva Nadi reading. And I think also the Siddhas, which is Dr. Pillai's lineage, also really come through when she speaks. So that's a little bit about that. If you have any other questions, just post them and I'm happy to answer. I am trying to get her to come on and do a webinar with me. So we'll see if that happens. I'm going to adjust. Now that the sun is back out after it stopped raining, my lighting is all messed up. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. So please post your questions while I attempt to adjust my lighting. See if that made it better. Not a little bit. How many times a day should we perform Tarpanam? Once would be fine. If you can do it once a day, that's good. That's a good thing. At least once a day during sunlight hours when the sun is up in wherever you are. Don't do it at night. Can I combine mantras? Rama, Arakara, Shreem, Kleem, Shreem, Brzee. Yes and no. So no, you can't make up your own mantra. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can fix this. So don't say Om, Shreem, Brzee, Rama, Arakara, Hreem, Kleem, Namaha, right? The Siddhas have spent, thousands of years in meditation to come up with sacred sounds and put them in particular orders for us to use. There are lots of mantras out there. So we don't recommend that you create a new mantra by stringing certain mantras together, but you can use them separately. So in one day, you can do Rama 108 times, Arakara 108 times, or 9 times, Shreem Brzee 108 times, Kleem 108 times, right? So do them separately. Like Rama as many times as you want to do Rama, and then Arakara as many times as you want to do Arakara, Kleem as many times as you want to do Kleem, as opposed to Rama, Arakara, Kleem. Okay, does that make sense? So don't string them together, but definitely utilize them all in a day if you like. Can Dr. Pillai make a recording of the mantra Om Shreem Mahalakshmi Namaha? I can see if it happens to be a good time to ask. We might, I don't know if we have that. We can check. Any other questions? Great questions today. Thank you. Always fun for me to be with you all. Just checking to see. If you signed up for several packages, is there a way to spread payment out over several months? What I want ends up to be about $800. Yes. So I know there's lots of stuff that often happens overlapping. So if you, and it's like we know you, Nancy, so we know that you're not going anywhere. Definitely write to the office and just let us know what type of payment plan you would like. And we're usually happy to accommodate. I saw a video with Mohini that was probably 10 years old, and she stated we could do Tarpanam facing south. Later on, she began saying we can do it in the bathroom. Does the direction make a difference? Ideally, it's south, but it doesn't have to be. So there are several, let's say it like this. When it comes to rules, they are more of suggestions or ways to accommodate certain energies that would make the ritual or the meditation or whatever you're doing a little more powerful. But it doesn't mean you should not do it if you cannot accommodate that. So by all means, what's most important is do the ritual, do the meditation, chant the mantra. And if you can layer in facing a certain direction or doing it during a certain power time or doing it with a bunch of other people to accelerate, the synergy of it, then that is great. But if you can't do it in a certain direction or during a certain power time or with a bunch of people, then don't use that as an excuse to not do it. So it's always better to do it and then layer in what's possible. So Tarpanam, for example, ancestor offerings, for example, really important, just do it every day. You do have to do it when the sun is up though. So don't do it at nighttime. And ideally you'd be facing south. But if you're standing at a certain direction and you're not facing south, that's okay. But if you can also face south, super. That's an added benefit. Okay. So that's what I say about if there are certain ways to accelerate or accentuate a technique or a meditation, then do it. But don't let that keep you from actually getting it done in the first place. Is it okay to chant only Shreem instead of Shreem Brzee? Yes, it is. Sometimes I like to just mix it up and chant Shreem, 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 Shreems, and then chant Shreem Brzee or just Brzee, 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 Brzee. So it is totally up to you. Play with it and see what works for you. Me. Dr. Pillai has many great mantras on an app called SoundCloud. I find it very helpful. Yes. Excuse me. Question, any special tips on how to best utilize the energies when Venus goes through retrograde on July 22nd? That would be a better question for Lalita Varahi, who's going to do the power time update. I think she's doing it next weekend. Maybe not next weekend, maybe the weekend after. She will do it later this month. Ask her, because she's an astrologer and I don't know how to answer that. That's what I'm saying. What mantras can we chant any hour, night, an example? All the mantras can be chanted at any hour. It's just the Tarpanam that you don't do at night. Mantras anytime. I know that there's there's also Rahu Kala and things like that. But in terms of worrying about chanting, I wouldn't worry about a bad time to chant. It's never a bad time to chant. Who am I praying to when I chant to Shreem? So Shreem is a mantra, and it's for from what I understand, I should say, it's a powerful mantra, and it is used for, excuse me, I've been talking too long. Hanuman, Om Hreem, Hreem, Markadaya. That's it. It's part of his mantra. It's also, from what I understand, a mantra for Shiva Shakti together. Hreem. Yeah. And Dr. Pillai hasn't specifically talked about like who is behind that mantra. But if it's working for you, do it. Oh, you're welcome, Pranava. Yeah. You can chant mantras anytime. You're welcome, Jay. Journey. I'm happy that this is motivating. Last month, we did a kind of 6-month check-in, which I was hoping would also be a little motivating in terms of getting folks to like look at like where we're at. We're 6 months into the year and where we want to go. So continuing on that trajectory and evaluating, the next 6 months is till the end of 2023. And what are we committing to? What are we doing? So I'm glad this Goddess Month is coming to kind of give us that extra energy. Hanuman, yeah. It's used, Shreem is used in one of the Hanuman mantras, and Shiva Shakti is the god and goddess together. I believe it's more specific to them though, not to Hanuman. It's just, but because it's part of many mantras. I believe it's Shiva Shakti is more, that's its significance. What can be done to help offset Rahu when he's a major planet in the birth chart? Kitty, thank you for that question. Actually, Dr. Pillai recently talked about this, and he said that Varahi can help mitigate Rahu afflictions. So you can pray to Varahi. There are also other rituals that can be done. For example, you can do rituals performed in India on your behalf. If you have a small little statue of Rahu or snake, pour milk over it. But I'm hesitant to give rituals like that because it really depends upon your astrology. And what I definitely recommend, the two safe things I can definitely recommend is pray to Varahi, and also get your astrology reading done so that the astrologer can give you specific remedies, and they will. So if you register through Pillai Center or Astrobed, you'll get an astrologer who can give you remedies. Western astrologers do not give remedies, and they don't talk about Rahu or Ketu. So go with a Vedic astrologer, and then we recommend ours. So that will, yeah, definitely do that. Rahu is tricky, right? Rahu, Ketu, because it's nodes of the moon, they're different. They're a little trickier, the energies. So you definitely want to know how to handle them. Any other questions? The rain has completely cleared. Now it's sunny, warming up. All right. Well, thank you all for joining today. I'll give you another minute if there are any other questions. While I do that, I'm going to adjust this a bit, bothering me. Special announcement that we have finalized the Navaratri or goddess trip that is happening through Pillai Center. And it is October 14th through the 22nd for the first trip. There's a 4-day add-on to that and another 4-day add-on to that. The webpage, registration page should be out within a week or so. And but just hold it in your mind's eye if you would like to be coming to India. Those are the dates. And we'll be releasing that soon. Registration, we will also have a special webinar event that will talk all about the trip, immersing yourself in the goddess, because it will be during the 9 nights of the goddess. So that's all happening, and it's very, very exciting. Can we call the office or only email to question? You can chat them on the, if you go to pillai-center.com, you can chat. You can also email, and you can request a call. We don't have a call center where you call and someone will pick up, but if you want to have a call, you can just request a call, someone to call you. Especially if you're just chatting with them, you can ask them to call you. Thank you. And Layla posted the link for the Goddess Power Month rituals, if you're interested in those. And that's all for now, folks. Thank you all for being here. Lots of love and happy Goddess Month. Be sure to take advantage of that new moon, as well as every Friday that's coming up. And we hope to see you on the Friday chanting sessions and all of the wonderful activities around Shreem Brzee. Also, please, it really helps us if you subscribe and like all of the social media channels, so YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we're on Telegram, Twitter. Every time you do any type of activity like or comment, it helps to get the content to more people. And so that's a cost-free way of you to help us to spread the word to more folks. So we really do appreciate any ways that you can help us out there too. And of course, you're just supporting Shreem Brzee, and Shreem Brzee is here to give everyone abundance. So we appreciate you. One more question. Can we substitute Darbar grass? What can we substitute Darbar grass with? If I think what you're talking about is in regards to ancestor offerings, you don't need to substitute it. You just don't have to use it. So when you're making an ancestor offering, you'll have rice or rice flour. You'll have black sesame seeds. If you don't have black sesame seeds, just regular sesame seeds. You'll have a coin of some sort. And if you don't have Darbar grass, just don't use it. Just use the basics. I don't have Darbar grass most of the time unless I've been to India or I order it or something. So really mine is just rice, black sesame seeds, and coin. Those are the basics. Nancy, when you go to PillaiCenter.com, there should be a little pop-up or a link on the side for chatting. Can I use normal grass? No. No, it's different. Darbar grass has a particular energy in it. That's why it's used. So don't use normal grass. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, folks, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Please spread the word of Shreem Brzee. We love you, and we'll see you this weekend, the Friday session. Oh, and then also full moons. Every full moon, we do a fire ritual and puja offering to Goddess Lakshmi. It's a wonderful way to gather in community and experience that together. So happy Goddess Month. Namaste.